Coach Hartley's doing a great job in both areas, tight end and special teams. That's a lot of responsibility, a lot of work.
Were you like that as a young coach?
Smart?
Did you try to teach everybody? No, teach everybody everything you know real fast. You know.
Well, part of having to coach fast is the 20-hour rule. You only have so many minutes in a meeting. If you just had like pro ball, you could take your time and just teach and slow down and come back, and but you got to teach fast, and but you can't go so fast that you lose them. And one of the first things I learned my year one is I would coach, and I'd say got it, and they'd say got it. Then I'd coach. I'd say got it, they'd say got it. And then you get out in the field, practice with the game, and like they don't have anything. They don't got it. And so I learned to say, tell me what you saw on that play, or on this particular play, what's your read, what's your progression, who are you keying? Make them talk to you to find out if they really got it or not. So that was lesson number one in coaching, that don't ever assume that they got it.
Hey, in stretch today we saw with Linder, Odagu, and Gray, they at least stretched.
Linder, yeah.
Odagu, Gray.
See, I'm slow. I'm trying to process.
Might they do any contact work this spring, or definitely
Cager was flexing.
Yes, Cager.
He's another one.
Okay.
Doubtful that anybody does. But it's kind of, when you start stretching with the team, it's a sign of integrating back into play. And I think there was supposed to be like a 3 weeks into spring ball, we were going to reevaluate and maybe not put them in contact, but maybe allow somebody to do one-on-one routes, which Cager maybe, I doubt. I'm just using an example. There's drills that they can do that aren't really contact drills, and not a lot of bodies around, or even pass pro. Sometimes you're integrating the lineman back into play, one-on-one pass pro. If you get in there with a team, there's twists and this and that, and people flying around and falling on the ground and all that, you just can't put them in there. But the next thing would be one-on-one type drills for those guys.
With running backs, do you just try to survive the spring, knowing that,
Yeah, we pray a lot. That, I mean, we don't want anybody to get hurt, obviously, but there's certain positions, if you had one or two, you're like, I have no earthly idea what we'll do. We'll go 5 wides or something. I do have a nightmare about that once a week.
Are you still in need of a grad transfer, or maybe somebody else?
We need help for sure. I can tell you that at that position.
Will Robert be back this spring?
Robert, this spring, that we don't know yet. I think there's some doctors' meetings today to try to decide what's next move. We may have some info about tomorrow or the next day.
You have a scrimmage coming up, your first scrimmage, and we won't see you before then. What are you looking for, and how's it gonna?
Well, a lot of things that happen in this thud tempo, where we're not tackling to the ground and we're not cutting somebody below the waist, blocking below the waist. It changes the game when you're able to block somebody below the waist. Let's say you're a receiver blocking out on the perimeter, a little bubble screen comes and you're the blocker. Well, if that guy comes hard as he can come, you might just cut him, block him low, which you're allowed to if you're faced up on him. And then he's on the ground, and while he's on the ground, you're running down the sideline. Or you've got a running back who's trying to block these big defensive ends. Well, right now the ends know we can't cut them, can't block below the waist, so they're just running them little dudes over, or trying to. But when they know they might get cut, it's a little different. Guys are trying to, self-preservation there for a minute, Same thing when you run like a stretch play, an outside play, we call it stretch play. Sometimes the backside, you're cutting the guy, which creates a seam, which you just can't do in these drills. So, and then the other thing too is, now that we're tackling, are you really getting them on the ground? And my guess is they will. My plan right now, also, which is a little bit different, is to let the quarterbacks have a normal jersey and play ball. So, is it a sack? Is it not a sack in a normal scrimmage? We don't know. This scrimmage, if I don't chicken out, we'll know if it's a sack or not. We'll know if a guy, makes a move and gets 5 yards, or if he gets tackled and he fumbles the ball, or he secures the ball, or whatever it may be. So it'll look more like a true game on those snaps, because we're going to let the quarterbacks play ball.
We'll have to get a sense of sort of how these quarterbacks react to pressure, because we have to see that.
Absolutely. I mean, how you going to react when you get hit in the mouth? and then you got to get up to the next player. How are you going to react when you know, can you stand in there and throw a strike and then somebody hits you? I mean, that's part of being a pocket passer. We'll throw out of the pocket. One more, if anybody's got it.
Is there, and I know first scrimmage still coming up, but is there any separation in your mind with the
quarterbacks? Yeah, but I'm not going to tell you. Yeah. The main reason is the very things we're talking about. Let's see a scrimmage. I'm going to reserve my opinion till the scrimmage. Somebody may show something in the scrimmage that they couldn't show in the thud tempo that we have right now. So we'll watch and see.